Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of the Unwatched Pile. Ooh, awards edition. Da-da-da-da.
Nice.
Yeah. You love me. You really love me. I'm Stephen Billings, and of course, Mr. Chasing Labels, Andrew Cabral. What's up, man?
What's up? What's up? Yeah, we are back here once again for another episode of the Unwatched Pile. This is episode number 20 for those of you keeping track at home. Hopefully someone is.
You're waiting every month. You're like, God damn, another number. Thank God.
Yeah,
I finally made it to 20. It's like, wow,
I can't keep track of chasing labels and that, and I do it every other week.
Yeah.
It's just like after a while, once you start doing them all, they just like you're in like robot mode. It's like, oh, next one.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's okay. We always look back at the stream and we're like, oh yeah, that's the next number. All right. So, of course, if you've never seen this show, never listened to this show, this is the show where we go and dust off that pile you build up next to your TV or in Andrew's case, on his couch around him. He just piles up things because he has no other place to put it. You put the little unwatched pile there because you're like, damn, I bought this, but I haven't seen it yet. And then you're like, let me close my eyes. Let me pick one out of the pile. And in this case, we choose one that we really want to watch, We haven't watched it in a long time. We watch it, we discuss it with everybody, and then we pair that with a film in our collections that we have seen to make a nice little double feature. Because who doesn't like a double feature night? And we give everybody a nice little, choice. And in this case, you're going to have 4 choices tonight of great double features. 4 instead of 3. It's 4 because we're going to have 2 guests on this award edition. And of course, we're doing the award edition because this is award season. You got the Oscars coming up. You got all the Critics' Choice, all that stuff's going on. Golden Globes happened. It's gone and went. People got drunk. People did stuff. So we're going to do our own awards edition. And in this awards edition, the theme is we all had to pick movies in our collections that we haven't seen that have been nominated for Best Picture. All right. Now, Dan didn't do that because he really liked this one movie. Now, this movie is an Oscar-nominated movie, but it isn't nominated for Best Picture. So he's the only one that cheated. But otherwise, we're all good. We're all good. That's going to be the theme for the episode. So I just gave away one of our guests. He's been on before multiple times. And he is, if there's anybody here that is obsessed with awards and Oscars and the things, it's this guy, Dan Skip Allen. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? You can go watch my podcast, Real Consideration.
Wow, right up front. He didn't say hey or anything. He was just like, whoa, come watch my show.
Yeah, come watch my podcast, Real Consideration, with my co-host Luis Mendez. We talk everything about awards season. So this is right up my alley. Awards season. I'm eating it up like a nice dinner at night every week, because that's
a lot of eating, man.
That's a lot of eating. It is a lot of eating. You're right about that.
And like I said, we do have another guest. We decided to have another guest on because there's just award season. There's so many awards. We got to have more voices. There's got to be more awards to talk about, more nominated movies to talk about. So we got our friend, also a returning guest, to come back to us, Gage Hoskins. Is it German? Hoskins.
No, you know what? We used to think that, but it's actually Scottish, according to whatever one of those services tells you.
That's cool too. Yeah. I like that. How's it going, man? How's it going? It's been a minute.
Yeah, I know. It's been a long time since I've been on y'all's show. I think it was November of 23, I guess. Yeah,
maybe,
23. Yeah, because that was the last time I've been on y'all's show, and it's been a lot of changes. I still keep up with the main Chasing Label show, and I check out the Unwatched Piles. I was listening to some earlier today, getting myself prepared to this. Thank you for having me back, because I feel like I do such a poor job of trying to explain why I make my choices the way I do.
There is no bad, dude. We know you're a big movie fan. You love movies, and there is no bad way to talk about movies. I know you're a fan. It's fine. But I know you've been busy. I know you've been. We got our friend Ryan at Disconnected that's popped in, and you shows with him sometimes, and you're gonna show again this week, right?
Yeah, I'm on this Thursday. So this was crazy. I've been able to knock both you guys out this week, so it's awesome. And it's
Perfect.
good because we've had a lot of stuff going on at Norman Studios lately. We had a big gala event where we finally opened the 5th building, which I think the
Wow.
first, because I was on y'all's show before I did Ryan's.
Yeah.
I think that was like something I talked about with you guys was I hope one day we'll be able to open that last property, and we finally just did it 2 Saturdays ago.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you finally got it together. I mean, I think when we first talked, it was like right in the pandemic times, so it was like
Yeah.
kind of difficult.
It was like early days.
Yeah.
I think at that point,
Yeah.
Yep.
you guys only had like, I don't know, like 2 buildings functioning at the time. You guys were doing a lot of renovations at the time.
Yeah, and I mean, they're still constantly like basically. I spent the first 2 weekends of January painting the bathrooms at this new building, and luckily I had my 3 good friends help me out. My girlfriend, and she came by. It really needed her touch. Her touch was awesome. I'm retiring from painting after that. That was such a pain in the ass.
tell you what,
I'm never doing this again.
One thing I hate most about being a homeowner and is having to paint something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess one other thing too is since last time I've been on, that I don't know if you kind of see it behind me. I have basically our whole living room is in our other parts of our house because since last time we spoke last September, a tree fell on our house during Hurricane Helene. Yeah, we just had the new roof put on Friday.
Wow.
So we've had a giant hole in our roof since I think whatever that was, the 1st or 2nd weekend of September or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. And
well, you're down in Dan's neck of the woods.
Yeah, he's Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Daytona.
Okay, so closer. I'm Jacksonville, so I'm in Daytona frequently. I'll be down there for the Daytona 200 in March. So coming up soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys, by the way, real quick, not to go off, did you all have either a special screening for the piano lesson or Nickel Boys up there? Because I heard there was a special screening of Nickel Boys around in Jacksonville somewhere. I didn't know maybe that you were involved in that somehow.
No, not us. We haven't really done any showings since before COVID because everything we did was at the Hotel Indigo here in Jacksonville. But during COVID, they stopped with that because of COVID, and now they're under new ownership, so we can't do it anymore. So now we're gonna start doing showings at this building we just opened last Saturday. But sadly, also since last time we talked, Sunray Cinema, which I know they were supposed to open a location in Daytona. They have moved to Tampa. Their building here closed down. So now Jacksonville currently no longer has any independent or repertory theaters. So I don't know. I didn't hear about the piano or the Nickel Boys. I mean, I could see possibly sometimes the AMC and Regency or the Tinseltown Cinemark. Sometimes they get weird one-off showings like that, and I always think it's weird. So maybe it was one of those, but we no longer have any kind of theaters that would do stuff like that.
It's too bad. That would go good with your buildings and the things that you guys are doing up there, right?
Yeah, and hopefully, now that we have this building, and it's kind of my job here to find a audio video solution for that building. It's going to be hard, but I got to find a projector and some kind of audio system for in there so we can start doing more film screenings starting this summer, and hopefully we will be able to fill some of that void of not having any repertory screening areas here in town. We'll mostly be doing silent film and classic film.
That's sad. That's sad that Jacksonville can't have a art house theater.
I know.
It should become a public service. It should be like a public service to have some sort of theater that can be accessible for everybody,
especially in that arts district, like the coffee area, like down the street from where the Jags new stadium is playing. In that area, there should be something like that. That's crazy that they don't have something.
I agree. I agree.
Hopefully, I can be.
But But Dan, before we get into the show, Dan, tell us about what's been going on with you. I know Dan started a new podcast with a friend that's I don't think he's ever talked about on this show. So go ahead and tell everybody.
Yeah, Real Consideration with Luis A. Mendez. All we do is talk about awards. We just did our reaction. He has 2 podcasts, the Real Lounge podcast, where he does with his brother, and then obviously Real Consideration, which he does with me. But sometimes we combine the 2, and I go on the Real Lounge podcast because he doesn't want to do like 2 podcasts in one weekend or something like that. But yeah, Lewis was on Gone with the Wind with me last season, and the host of that decided to cancel that podcast, keep the name. I tried to buy the name. He wouldn't let me buy it.
All right, Dan.
And then we
Let's not do the history.
we started our own podcast, Real Consideration. So we've been doing that every week since August. But every week, every off and on week since October, every week. So it's like every bi-weekly since August, and then weekly since October. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. February, we got 1 month to go, and then we got the big show, the Super Bowl of movies, the Academy Awards, which is what we look forward to every year.
Yeah. Now, are you going to be covering Shelf Shock? Because as you know, we can't forget Shelf Shock won the Disc Awards. That's an award show. You should be covering that as well.
Just so Ryan knows, I did vote. I didn't have all of those that I voted for, but I had quite a bit of them. I was surprised how many I actually owned off of that. But there's a lot of really nice ones that I just couldn't. You know what? I was so upset because it was at 1:30. Then it went to. I said it's at 1:30, and then it went to 1:70, and that was the Frank Capra set. And then now it's at 2:30. I'm like, man, why didn't I get it at 1:30? Why did I get it at 1:30? I'm so kicking myself not getting that Frank Capra set. Then it went to 1:70. I was like,
that's the Andrew syndrome,
Yeah, I was going to say, I've been there. Been there too many times.
Now it's at 2:30. You idiots. I'm so upset with myself not getting
still
that.
got it next to me.
What are you doing, Gage? What's going on over there? You dancing?
I'm trying to do a setup on a shelf. I think.
Yours. Yeah. Mine's over here.
I can see it. I can see it, Gage. I can see it. And Andrew's showing his off, rubbing it in.
I got it right here.
Mine's sitting on a shelf.
The thing is, there's no. Yeah, I mean, it's not very shelf friendly. I can tell you that for everybody.
Did you guys get it for 1:30? When it was at 1:30?
No, mine was like 170.
I think mine was
140.
170.
I
got mine at 140.
140.
I tried to tell you. I knew when it went to 1:30. I said, "Get it now!" And then bam, it went to 170, and then now it's at 2:30. I'm like, man, I'm so upset.
But
Ryan, I did vote on the Shelf Shock Awards, even though some of the stuff.
You guys, you got I think a few more days.
I think it goes to I think February 1st or the end of January.
Yeah, to the end of January it ends.
So it's like about another
Friday.
Yeah, so and the show is on the 16th of February. So be ready for that. That'll be a live event. There might be a new commercial by me and the fam in there. There's always usually one every year. Let's hope that I can make it happen. Because literally every time I do one of these commercials, it's like I do it in like one day, like a couple days before the show. We'll see if I get it in. Because I also I do the video packages for the show. So I got to do all them nomination videos, we'll see if I get it done. But everybody's counting on that. They need the comedy, so I'll do it. I'll get it done. But as usual, Josephine's here saying, hey, happy Chinese New Year. Year of the snake.
Nice.
I don't like snakes.
Just stay away from that comment then. And a lot of first time watches, of course. She's watching more than Andrew, I think.
She hit us up on our podcast.
She reads and watches so much. I don't know how she does it.
I keep telling her, be careful about that dentist and Marathon Man.
Yeah, but let's stop all the rigmarole here and just get into it. Let's do this thing. I don't know which guest to start with. Usually we only have one. So can you guys play rock, paper, scissors between each other?
D starts first. A starts first.
No, rock, paper, scissors.
Let Dan go first. I want him to go first.
Okay, let's let Dan go first. All right, Dan has chosen his pick for his Oscar theme or award show theme, and tell him what it is and tell us what you thought of it.
Well, I had never seen this movie, which is shocking because everybody and their brother has seen this already. It's My Man Godfrey. And I'll tell you right now, I was glad I picked it. I had 3 I watched, and I chose My Man Godfrey. It got nominated for 8 Academy Awards, just not Best Picture. So I think that should count that it's an Academy Award.
It's fine. It's just such a good movie. I can't turn it down.
First time I ever watched this movie. Now, my co-host Lewis, this is one of his favorite movies of all time. So I made him happy that I watched it. My Man Godfrey. It's got William Powell in the main role. It's basically about a guy who lives in a dump. and these rich people decide they got this game going on. Well, they're going to go find a guy that lived. They call him a forgotten man, and they go grab this guy off the dump. And they say, hey, how many points do I get for bringing this forgotten man? And the one sister's like, hey, can you come with me instead of my sister? Because I want to beat my sister. So he goes with the one sister instead of the other sister because he pushes the other sister in a pile of ash. And needless to say, he eventually becomes their butler. But he's got secrets. He's got secrets. The family's got secrets. It's got a fantastic cast. It's got this one guy who acts like a monkey at one point in the movie, which I was like, all right, get rid of this guy. But the other people in the movie I really liked. I liked all the other actors. I liked where the movie went. The other actors are Carol Lombard, Gail Patrick, Alice Brady, and so Eugene Paulette. I mean, it's got a really good cast, but William Powell is the main reason to see this movie. If you really want to see a phenomenal performance from a guy who lives in a trash heap, then becomes a butler and really becomes part of the family, William Powell. And I haven't seen a lot of William Powell movies. I'll be honest with you. This is one of
the Thin Man series, right? You know, like that's one of the big ones.
Yeah. So there you go. But other than that, this is a really good movie. I love the cinematography because there's a lot of stuff going on in this apartment and they're moving the camera. It's Gregory LaCava. So he's got this filmography that I definitely recommend you check out. If you haven't checked out his work before, it's Gregory LaCava. But yeah, My Man Godfrey.
Yeah. Anybody else seen My Man? I've seen it. I know Andrew's seen it. Gage, have you seen My Man Godfrey?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I saw it about when it came out on Blu-ray. It was always super high on my watch list when it was DVD only, but I was waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray, which was like, 2017-ish probably. The reason why it was high on my watch list was because it was on Donald Fagen from Steely Dan's top 10 on the Criterion website. I think it's his number one movie on there. And so I was like, all right, I got to check this. And that was the first William Powell movie that I watched. And it was probably my first Carol Lombard movie that I've watched. And now they're two of my absolute favorites. I've never seen the Thin Man movies, but I have seen the Philo Vance movies, which I watched like public domain rips on YouTube. Those just got a Blu-ray. That is like one of the most slept on things from last year. But Gregory LaCava's My Man Godfrey, I call one of the very few movies I call a perfect film. That movie really is perfect. It's like and The Princess Bride. They're not like my two favorite movies, but My Man Godfrey is probably in my top 10 of all time. But
nice.
I think it was perfectly paced. The comedy in them is amazing.
Oh, the comedy is so perfect. It's so. I mean, it's so witty, and it's so like it feels like it's not really a part of that time compared to other comedies. It feels like it's a lot smarter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like a pre-code movie, even though it's like 1939, I think. What do you know? What year
I think
that
it's
is?
actually pre-code.
No, it's 1936.
36. Okay.
So right after
right
the pre-code kind of hit, or the code hit in like 1934. So that's usually the dividing line. But it does feel like it because it's a mature film in a very digestible package. Because it's got also like a theme of social class as well. Because as Dan said, you're seeing like these super aristocratic people are having like a game, like a scavenger hunt at like their gala at their ball.
It's hard. I was interested to see how he was going to explain it because it is.
Yeah, and it's like we're like one of the things is they have to go and find like a homeless person to bring back. And I guess like which one is like the most derelict, they get the most points for in their
very trading places,
Yeah, very messed up, very cruel too.
Yeah.
And also it's interesting how it's 1936, it's during the Great Depression or like post Great Depression or somewhere in that area. So it's even more cruel when you think of the historical aspect of it. But then it's like so contemporary because there is such a social class divide when it comes to finance, the people who have more money versus people who don't. And there's a constant debate now about those things. And the movie came out in 1936.
The
haves and have-nots. So it's incredibly contemporary, and the acting, like you guys have said, is extraordinary. William Powell, I've never seen him in a role that he doesn't excel at.
Yeah.
Even like his lesser stuff in like the early 30s, like even before The Thin Man, where he was in like I think it was like in The Jewel Robbery, which was a movie with him and Kay Francis. He's great in that. I think that's like 1932, 1933. But yeah, he was great throughout his career. Coincidentally, they remade My Man Godfrey in 1957 with David Niven, and it's good, but it's not quite doesn't quite have that magic.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, like Gage said, this movie's so perfect. A remake
Yeah.
was kind of a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I understand why they did it.
We don't like remakes.
Well, that's a good pick, Dan. Yeah, My Man Godfrey. Good way to start off the show. Before we head over to Gage, we had some more things. Ryan over at Disconnected did say a lot of great giveaways this year at the Shelf Shock Rewind. So make sure you're there live to be able to get a chance to win one of these great giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
I never answer them trivia questions right.
Well, what's tough is getting them in quick enough.
Yeah.
Because you got all these people competing to be the first one to say something, and you never know if your internet connection's slower than somebody else's, or it's kind of tough. Yeah, we've given away some really nice stuff over the first few years, so I can't wait to see what they're giving away this year. So and thank you. I love doing the commercials. I think I have a fun idea for this one. You have to wait.
One where you and your wife.
It's going to be the whole family. It's your way. It's everybody's way of seeing our baby grow up through the commercials.
Cool.
She'll be in it again. She'll be just a little bigger. So, but let's move on to Gage over here. He is going to be showing us, giving us his thoughts on the Best Picture nominated film Grand Hotel. I believe it actually won, didn't it?
Yes, this did win Best Picture. And you initially had contacted me about what movie to do this year. I had one in mind that I'm actually going to use as my pairing for later. And then also when you had messaged me and I'd start thinking about it, Dan, I'd actually thought about, man, I wonder if I can find a movie to pair with My Man Godfrey because I love it. When I saw that you chose it, I was like, awesome. Yeah, that's super cool.
But the irony is I saw your movie. You saw my movie and I seen your movie, but I didn't see my movie. And you didn't see your movie. That's weird how that worked out.
Yeah, Grand Hotel. So the other movie that I chose for my pairing is actually a movie that I had for a longer time. This one I haven't had for as long, but has been on my watch list for probably 15 years now that we're in 2010 was probably when I added that to my watch list. And the Blu-ray I know came out in around that time, maybe like 2012, 13 or something. And I'm hoping that one day that Warner Brothers re-releases it with a better encoded disc, like if Warner Archive re-release, because sometimes they do that with mainline stuff. Because the Blu-ray is kind of dated, but the movie is awesome. And I know that it was like considered one of MGM's like first like all-star cast films. Because at that time, you didn't want to put all your stars in one basket or whatever. And this was like the first time they did that. And it kicks ass, man. This is actually also the first Greta Garbo movie I'd ever seen was this. So that was a big deal to watch that. And then it's also got John Barrymore, Lionel Barrymore, Wallace Beery, and Joan Crawford in it. So it's like every scene has 2 stars in it at least. And John Barrymore is somebody I've started watching a lot more of his films lately, and he's becoming one of my favorites. He was one recently I'd watched A Bill of Divorcement, which it's got him and it's Katharine Hepburn's like first role I think ever is that movie, and it's awesome. But Grand Hotel though, the reason why I liked it a lot is because it takes place all in kind of one setting of this bustling hotel in Berlin. This is obviously pre Nazi Germany, and there's beautiful lobby and all the rooms you go through, and it's kind of like the interminglings of all these unique characters that connect with each other in this beautiful space. And that's like one of my favorite themes with movies is movies with kind of a atmosphere or a setting that is a character into itself. So all of these people are, they're like walking through different rooms. John Barrymore at one point like kind of scales the outside of the building to sneak into someone else's room. So the setting of this film is kind of what I will link to my other movies that I choose for the rest of the night, or the other one. But I'm going to bring up two more because I had such a hard time deciding.
Oh God, you and Dan.
No, but I'll just bring it up quick. There's one specific.
Andrew, don't tell me you have like 5 movies that you're like, is my pairing 5?
No,
because it's
I could have done that, but I didn't.
I know. You really held back, man. That's good, man.
Yeah, but the movie's awesome. It's like before, we were beholden to genre, and like it kind of blends everything all in together. It's funny, it's sad, it's heartfelt. There's lots of great emotions that span throughout the whole thing, and it feels really modern because it's a pre-code movie. So, and, another reason why I chose this is because it's from 1932, and I finally got Letterboxd Pro, so I have the stats now. And I didn't realize how many movies from 1932 I'd seen. And I was like, wow, I went through it. And there's like so many films from that year that I was like,
it doesn't surprise me. You work at a place that's about silent film.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're watching films of that age, like probably all the time. You just don't.
Yeah. And I've been knocking out a lot. I think I've watched 10 new movies this year that I'd never seen before. And I think 7 of them are from the 30s. So, I mean, that's my favorite decade for sure.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so, but definitely recommend checking that out. And you could probably get this Blu-ray for, I think, probably less than $15 on Amazon pretty much at any given time. So I highly suggest it. Have any of y'all seen it?
I have not. That's one I've actually blanked on. I think Dan said he's seen it, and I'm sure Andrew's seen it.
I have seen it, yes.
Yeah, I tell you, I love what you said about the interminglings of the characters. Remember the 2000s became this thing where all these like characters intermingle, they go off, they do this and they do whatever. Mm-hmm. But that movie, I said, oh my God, this is the precursor to that, where you have all these characters, one goes off left, the other does this, and it's like a play, and it's based on a play. So it's obvious that it's based on a play, and the one character comes stage left, comes back on, the other color goes that way, and the other different character comes on. And that's what's so fun about it. You get to be introduced to all these different types of characters. And you're right. You said there was some good actors in it and it had some good performances. And I know, and that was the thing. I think it was the fact that it came out when it did. You could do some experimentation in movies, and then like years later, like the movies weren't as good because you couldn't do the experimentation that they did in Grand Hotel. And I did love that cast, and it just looked beautiful. You know what I mean? Very good movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed Grand Hotel. I think I saw that either last year or the year before, a couple of years ago, maybe.
Yeah, there's some interesting camera movement in it as well for that 1932. Like when they're going through the lobby, there's several scenes. Like I believe it's towards the end. There's a scene with a porter that kind of comes in, and like the camera tracks him throughout the whole lobby. It's like pretty interesting to see at that time period.
Yep, I remember that. That was a cool scene. You're right about that.
Yeah, screw you, Scorsese.
Yeah. We're looking at my poster behind me.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking Goodfellas.
One of the great tracking shots of all time.
Yeah.
Through the Copacabana. Don't even start that.
I know it's a touchy subject. If I nudge it, Scorsese, like he's done that before, like he's the first to do that. Yeah. All right, but Andrew, any thoughts on Grand Hotel?
Yeah, I mean, it's an early Best Picture winner. We're talking like Gabe said, 1931, 1932. I think the first Best Picture winner was 1928 or so, and that would be Wings.
Yeah, this is the 5th Best Picture winner.
Yeah, so it's early. But it is fascinating is, it comes during that studio system where it is tough to have all these big stars in the same movie because everybody's contracted. So if you don't have that actor or actress under contract in your resume, in your repertoire, you can't really use them. So to put all these like really super famous actors and actresses in the same movie is kind of a first of its kind to do that. Now it seems to happen all the time. Now
nobody's beholden to a studio necessarily anymore.
Yeah, I mean there are contracts
some special
now.
Deal. Yeah,
there are contracts now, and sometimes you hear certain things where like someone's contracted to do a movie, so they can't do another movie or something like that, or scheduling or issues and whatnot. But it's not like it was back then, where it's almost like you had like different factions. Like each studio had their own, like, just group of actors and actresses that they had under their under their umbrella for years, kind of like sports teams, if you will, something like that. But yeah, I remember this movie also being very, very well written, incredibly staged. It all takes place in this Grand Hotel. And there's also a bit of a social commentary in there again as well. These 1930s movies just seem to have social commentary in them because so much was going on in the world at the time. I remember the Lionel Barrymore character, who's kind of this, he's not quite the crowd of the Grand Hotel. He's kind of like the outsider coming in, and he comes in and he kind of has this great monologue at some point in the movie, and it's a really biting monologue, and it's very, very good. The movie is very good. Like, I highly recommend. I know a lot of people don't like to watch like 1930s black and white films. Definitely give this a watch. Definitely worth your time.
Who said that?
I don't know. Some people like that. Many people will see a black and white and completely not want to watch it.
But no, I mean, I hope that is just like I felt, like even as a beginning film watcher, I felt that way at some point. I was like, why would I watch that when movies are color now? It's stupid. But then I got more educated. Like, but people are like that. I get what you're saying. It's mostly younger people, and people that have never experienced it before think that it makes no sense. But all right, well, that's great. I wonder if there's some Avengers story behind the scenes getting all them actors together. Like, there's some story behind the story. That could be like the Saturday night movie, but
I saw a documentary on it. I think the version I saw had like, there was a documentary or something. I don't know how I saw it, but there was it was very difficult for them to get them pieces in place.
Yeah.
I think there's actually a lot of special features on this. There is a making of documentary called Checking Out Grand Hotel on here, so they probably talk about that. And I remember
I might have a Blu-ray. Gage, I actually might have a Blu-ray. I can't go look for it right now. I may have bought a Blu-ray, and that's probably what I watched too.
Probably, because there's been a DVD of that as well, and I'm pretty sure they just ported over the same special features from the DVD. And I think they used the same cover for the Blu-ray too.
There's a steel.
I like the movie poster. I love that poster.
Yeah, the red, like,
oh god,
there's a steel book with that on it, but it's like $60.
Oh wow.
Two more interesting things was
I know what you're talking about because it's from the UK, and I remember.
Yes,
I think Eureka put that out on Steelbook.
Oh,
that's maybe what it is.
That's
because they did that with a bunch of their like Eureka Classics lines years ago.
Yeah,
when the movie posters for their Steelbook covers, which are very nice.
Yeah, I see on here too, guys, that there's it has a trailer for a 1945 remake. We were just talking about that with my man.
Which no one.
They don't have the film.
I don't see many people talking about it.
Yeah, I know.
They don't talk about that one.
And then something else even was that something I do remember reading about the Grand Hotel was something about Joan Crawford being very excited to be in the movie with Greta Garbo. And I just realized I'm not going to talk about it because it not really spoils it, but it talks about the movie, so I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah, there is some interesting stories if you just go read IMDb, like trivia section.
Okay. Alrighty. Awesome. Grand Hotel, another good pick. Before we head over to Andrew with his pick, what is the best Robert Altman non-comedy?
Oh God, why do they say that? Because I'm just
it's easy. It's three women. It's easy.
Yeah,
I'm pulling my hair out. Right
yeah,
now,
I would go with three women,
and you'll know why.
Or Nashville, or whichever.
You'll
one
know why once I do my secret pick. You'll know why.
Oh Jesus! Here he goes again. He's just like a guy that hosts the show. He's like, I gotta have a segue or something. You'll see later. But all right, Andrew, please tell us about your pick, which is Cleopatra.
It is indeed. So my picks, I went down all the lists of Best Picture nominees always from the beginning up till now, and I realized I'd seen so many of them. so
I really thought this was going to be difficult for you because
I went down the list and I went down the list like 3 or 4 times just to make sure I wasn't missing anything. There was a pattern about the ones I hadn't seen, and that they were all incredibly long films. So I guess I had avoided them.
This one's incredibly long.
Incredibly long. Cleopatra runs for 251 minutes. It's a 2-disc set. You know, you got to spread
the
the movie over 2
Titanic.
discs. The first disc is like the first 2 hours. The second disc is the next 2 hours and 14 minutes or so. And yeah, this is one of the most iconic films in so many ways of all time because it stars, Elizabeth Taylor, one of the great movie stars of all time, stars Richard Burton. It also stars Rex Harrison, but the movie is notorious for being one of the most expensive films ever made. Um, at the time, I think including marketing and production budget, it cost $44 million to make, and this was circa the late 50s, early 60s. Because the movie came out in 1963. You can imagine it took a few years to make. But in modern day times, if we're doing the mathematical calculations, that budget would be over $400 million. So imagine like a $400 million movie today.
I
What it
can.
would be
They
like in
make them.
1960.
They make them.
You mean like that Red Notice movie?
Yeah,
It
like
as good as that?
Yeah, so basically the price of a big budget movie like that, which mind-boggling, or even like a Marvel film or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But this is a historical epic, not based off of something as entertaining as
the
comic
Marvel
books.
films of their times.
I guess so. That and westerns.
Yeah.
Biblical too. Biblical
Yeah.
epics.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that this isn't a biblical epic. It's a historical epic because it's dealing with the ancient Rome. We're talking over 2,000 years ago, late BC era of Rome, Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, and Cleopatra. So we got Rome, we have Egypt, and we have that kind of historical background there. Obviously, artistic license is taking place here. Fiction is probably injected into the film, and into the story, and it's mostly about the romantic relationships between these people versus like what's going on in the world politically and all that kind of stuff. That's more of like the background stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? Like they cut to that to give you a context of other story elements, but it's really mostly about the relationship between these three people. Starting off the film, the first 2 hours, Julius Caesar and Elizabeth Taylor have a relationship. Second 2 hours is the Mark Antony and Cleopatra relationship going on. And I have to say, the first part of this film is probably the most compelling part, coincidentally, considering that this movie, I think, is remembered for being a Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor starring vehicle. To me, Rex Harrison as Julius Caesar was utterly captivating in this film. Like, he carried the movie, I would say, for the good half of it. I mean, if you know history at all, you ultimately know what ends up happening to Julius Caesar. Or if you're a Shakespeare fan, you know what happens to Julius Caesar.
He starts a pizza place.
He does.
Right?
He does.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Damn,
In
that
Detroit.
Little Caesar's pizza, affordable, they say.
Very affordable pizza.
He
What's
moved to
interesting
Detroit
is
and
that
started a pizza place. Yep.
what's interesting is that Julius Caesar is so iconic that, like you said, Steven, even to this day, people are using him as a marketing tool for everything and anything. You have Caesar salad dressing, you've got Little Caesar's pizza, you've got all kinds of stuff. But back to the movie. Rex Harrison is really commanding in the role. He's just delivering Shakespearean-esque type of performance in here. And that's what the film really feels. It feels like a Shakespearean-esque type of film in both its grandeur as well as a lot of its elements in it as well. What I can also say is that it's super, you can tell that they used every ounce of budget in the movie. Gigantic sets, massive amounts of extras, jewelry galore, elegant outfits, opulence like you wouldn't believe. They truly don't make films like this anymore, as the saying goes. And yeah, it's the movie that nearly bankrupted a studio. It's notorious for its kind of off-screen romance between Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, but the on-screen stuff, I was in it. You know what I mean? It's not a movie I would say that people who don't know old Hollywood should go into firsthand. If you love that world of old Hollywood, if you love Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, if you love old type of Hollywood filmmaking, incredibly patient filmmaking, slow moving scenes that go on for 5 to 10 minutes, even sometimes longer, of just people talking, like beautiful people talking in beautiful scenery, that's this type of movie. I mean, you got to fill 4 hours here. You got to make these scenes a little long. But yeah, I was all into this movie. This is something I knew I was going to enjoy because of my sensibilities as a film lover. But obviously, I was putting it off because it's 4 hours long. I've had this disc in my collection probably since it came out in 2013. So, it's been sitting in my collection for so long. It's directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, who I always thought was an incredibly underrated director. He's won a few Oscars himself. He was the second director actually on this film. Ruben Mamoulian was the first one. I think they had started production with him, and then they kind of moved off of him. They didn't quite like his vision. And then Joseph L. Mankiewicz had already directed Elizabeth Taylor in what's that movie that he did in the late 1950s? The one, it's called The Last Summer, I think. I think it was The Last Summer.
Is it Suddenly Last Summer?
Suddenly Last Summer. Thank you, Gage. So she wanted him, or she wanted another director that I couldn't remember, someone she had worked with before. This was definitely a vehicle for her, because she's obviously all over the marketing for this movie and all over the pop culture references to this movie. So Joseph L. Mankiewicz, to me, has always been an underrated director. He won 4 Oscars in his career. So he won mostly for All About Eve. If you've seen the movie All About Eve, he was the director behind that Oscar-winning film, which had come out, I guess, a decade or so before this.
I guess 50, 53, somewhere around there.
I think it was 1951.
Yeah, somewhere.
It may have been when it came out. But I've always liked him. I think he's the great uncle of Ben Mankiewicz, the TCM host. So you've probably heard that name before. I think his brother was a co-writer on Citizen Kane. Remember that movie Mank from a few years ago, the David Fincher film? It was all about his brother and the making of Citizen Kane, kind of. So this movie had a lot going behind it. There's a 2-hour making of on here as well. So if you want all you can get, you can get it. So yeah, this movie in this edition is very, very good. I'm surprised we haven't gotten, another edition of it, because this was the 50th, so we've already passed the 60th anniversary of this movie.
We'll get a new version, Andrew. Once the new one with Gal Gadot comes out, we'll get it.
Oh, I forgot about that. But the biggest thing is that this was put out by 20th Century Fox. It was a 20th Century Fox movie. We all know now that 20th Century Fox doesn't really exist anymore. It's been folded into the Disney brand, so we don't really know what they're doing with that back catalog of stuff. So who knows if this will get some type of re-release at some point for some anniversary.
Criterion will probably ask for the rights to do it.
That would be nice, but I would say so. I would say though, it is ripe for some type of 4K restoration because of how grand and gorgeous the film looks.
Oh, gorgeous!
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an epic from a bygone era for many, many reasons.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a gorgeous film. I mean, absolutely, Elizabeth Taylor, that relationship. And if you want some in depth of that about that, they have the Elizabeth Taylor tapes documentary on HBO Max that you could really get into the nitty gritty of a lot of that stuff back in her lifetime. The Elizabeth Taylor tapes. Yeah,
she was a larger than life actress. Yeah, one of my favorites of all time. I think one of the greats of all time, personally.
Yeah, that movie is gorgeous. You're right though. You hit every beat on that.
Thank you.
Andrew,
I'm thorough.
I was like, there's nothing anybody else could say because you said it all, man. But it's a good movie. Well, I don't know about how good a movie it is. It's decent.
It's interesting. It's more whether a movie is good or not is always subjective. So who really knows? I mean, depending if you like it or not. If you like the aesthetics of it all, you're gonna dig it.
I saw it like 30 years ago, 35 years ago.
Yeah, it's an over 4-hour movie. There's gonna be a lot of bloatedness in there as well. I think that's unavoidable.
Oh yeah.
All right, Gage. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I've never seen the movie.
Me either.
I don't know if I've seen any Elizabeth Taylor movies, which is crazy.
Whoa, man! You gotta see Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
My friend Carl, that's like he keeps telling me I need to get that. I do need to get that really badly. Which I think there's a Warner Archive DVD or Blu-ray of that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping, Andrew, that maybe 2025 brings us, Sony gets to do some kind of Fox Classic sets. Now that they're working,
somebody does.
That's my dream. I don't think it's gonna happen, but
some of the 20th Century Fox back catalog has been licensed out.
Yeah,
to several boutique labels.
Yeah. A lot of them are like co-productions of like Columbia and 20th Century or something like that.
Yeah,
a lot of times these guys work together, get production to get multiple dollars from different locations. So like TriStar and Columbia and 20th Century sometimes will work together.
Yeah, something too similar to Cleopatra. I got to see Lawrence of Arabia in the theaters last summer, and I think that's 229 minutes or something like that. That's somewhere.
There comes a point when you're watching that movie where like you feel like you've been going through the desert.
Yeah, and familiar with that. I enjoy.
You gotta make sure you have something to drink with you.
Yeah, it's like I am exhausted.
I like the first half of Lawrence of Arabia more than I like the second half. So that's funny that you say the same thing about Cleopatra. I find it more compelling. They're both great though. So, but the guy that I went and saw Lawrence of Arabia with, my good friend, I believe he actually just watched Cleopatra. So I just saw that on Letterboxd that he had watched that. So maybe I need to try to go hunt down that Blu-ray and try to watch that soon.
All right. Well, we're gonna leave the another old. You guys all picked old movies. Like I'm gonna take us to the 90s. I'm gonna take us to the 90s. And we're going to talk about, I think, a filmmaker that I don't know about Dan and Gage. I know Mr. Andrew Cabral here loves this guy, and that's Mike Lee.
Mike
Lee. Yeah, Mike Lee's good. Yeah, shut up, Dan. You act like this is nothing. Mike Lee, man, he's okay. Yeah, no, Mike Lee's awesome. We're talking about Secrets and Lies. This is one that was a blind spot for me. I've seen a handful of his films. I've seen. Was it Sweet is Life is Sweet. Naked is probably my favorite. I love that. All or Nothing is another good one. Yeah, I've seen a handful of his films, and this is one that everybody kept talking about. Like when this came out on Criterion a few years back, everybody was like, "Yeah, Secrets and Lies." And when I was looking through films I had in my collection, I did not realize this was nominated for Best Picture. I was like, wow, okay. All right.
Wow.
So I was really excited to check this out. Not even really knowing what the film was about. I didn't even want to know anything. I just started watching it. And if you know anything about Mike Lee films, Mike Lee, and this is one thing that this makes him his films are some of my favorite films because he's a naturalistic director. He's somebody that is looking for very honest performances. Some of my other favorite directors like that, like, Hirokazu Koreeda, people that make films about families, about real people, and try to get real performances. And that's the kind of thing we get here. This film could be a play. It's very, very simple story about a woman who wants to seek out her birth mother. And then when she finds out that her birth mother is a white lady, and then when she confronts her mother, she finds out she's black, and it becomes a whole thing. The film essentially is a very simple story of seeking out your lineage. But then it kind of becomes this film that's really about the importance of honesty in family, how keeping secrets and lies will keep a family apart. And in this story, we get different sections of a family, and you're kind of following all different avenues. Of course, the cast, Timothy Spall is kind of a highlight in this film. He plays a section. He plays the brother of Brenda. How you say her last name?
Brenda Blethyn.
Yeah, Brenda Blethyn is the mother of our character, who's played by Marianne Jean Baptiste. Thank you, Andrew. God, Andrew's usually the one doing that for me. But she's the one seeking out her mother and finds the Brenda Bleth character. And bless you. And so, it's a big surprise that, because she didn't realize that she was even alive. So it becomes this whole thing, and they, to get to know each other becomes a whole thing. And then it kind of blows up the family. So it's a simple story, but it's very much about, how all these characters are kind of distant and not honest with each other, and how it's kept their family not close. And then at the end, it kind of all hits ahead. And then you get some really great performances. very naturalistic performances. Some scenes that are very much long takes. I even heard that a lot of this film was actually improvised. And part of the reason was because Mike Leigh withheld information on the script from the characters, from the actors, specifically that she is her daughter. So when they all found out, they were like, what? So it caused very, natural, reactions in some cases, but had to be a really interesting, an interesting way for an actor to go about doing their job, not knowing what they're, necessarily working towards, what they're, so yeah, I mean, a film like this being such a very simple and small kind of thing, being nominated for Best Picture, it almost feels like, and I'm not saying this is all the time, but it's like when we had less nominations, the film seemed more powerful and varied sometimes. Like smaller films like this could be nominated for Best Picture. But now, because we have 10 nominations, these movies don't always seem to make their way in every time. And they have to put in a Dune 2, or they have to put in something weird. You know what I mean? I don't know. Is that just me? Because I don't see drama.
They got a couple blockbusters in it, but you go look at the Nickel Boys. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen Nickel Boys.
Nobody saw the Nickel Boys. What are you talking about? I'm Still Here is a Brazilian film.
Is it?
I mean,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, nobody saw that.
This is like very like just, it's just a drama. It's just like whenever you see a comedy get nominated for Best Picture, that don't ever happen. Like this is just a small little drama. Yeah. Like I don't know.
There was rumors that Hard Truths could be one of those little movies that could slide in there. And hey, what is that?
Which is the new Mike Leigh that just came out.
Yeah, starring Marianne Jean-Baptiste. So how it's kind of funny that you're talking about Secrets.
Yeah, I talked with Mike Leigh. I said we'd advertise on my show. Yeah.
Yeah, but like his films, Mr. Turner, Vera Drake, he is a good director. There's no doubt about that. I don't have any knocks on Mike Leigh, but yeah, no, those kinds of movies are really nice movies to watch. Like Secrets and Lies is a fantastic movie. And if you like Secrets and Lies, I definitely would recommend watching Hard Truths with Marianne Jean-Baptiste, because she's not a nice character, but she does have an interesting relationship with her sister, but not her husband and son. So that's kind of interesting. That it's like, you want to talk about a double feature? That's a double feature right there. Secrets and Lies.
I don't have it in my collection. I can't do it.
I know that. I'm just saying, do the double of those two. Anybody listening or watching out there, because that'd be a great double feature.
Yeah. All right. Any thoughts, guys? Gage, any thoughts on Secrets and Lies? You've seen it?
No, I haven't. I may have I don't think I've seen any Mike Leigh movies. I may have seen one. I think I own a few of them. I know I just got All or Nothing in the Severance set. It was like $2.99 or something ridiculous.
I'm gonna give that away. I don't.
Yeah, right.
So underrated.
I know. Yeah. So I can't wait to watch that because I really enjoyed Timothy Spall. I really see Mr. Turner too.
Oh God,
probably the Mike Leigh film I want to see the most.
He's amazing in it.
But talk about an Unwatched Pile. I ended last year watching all the Harry Potter movies for the first time.
What?
And I didn't know that Timothy Spall was in those movies. I was like,
Peter
You
Pettigrew.
say that, and so many Mike Leigh actors were in Harry Potter.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many big actors were in that series.
Timothy Spall, David Thewlis, a bunch of actors who had been in Mike Leigh stuff had ended up in the Harry Potter series. Yeah. For me, I think Secrets and Lies was my first Mike Leigh film I think I ever saw. I saw it in a film class, like circa 2011, because the professor was a big Mike Leigh fan, but he was also, it was an online course. And so he was from England. So he showed us a lot of British film. So when we got up to like the 80s and 90s, he showed us Mike Leigh's Secrets and Lies. At that time, I think he sent us like a link of it, and we had to watch it in parts. It was back in the day where YouTube, you could get away with stuff like that.
You had to do it.
Not like now.
11 9-minute videos.
Yeah, where you would have like 9 10-minute parts or whatever, however long the movie is. And I think it was something like that, or he sent us a link to somewhere. But either way, even at that time, it wasn't really easy to find on DVD. Like there was a DVD I think that was either rare or hard to find, or was already out of print. So when that Blu-ray came out from Criterion, it was kind of a miracle that it finally came out. Great movie, great acting. One thing with Mike Lee films, they're going to be very well acted and very real acting, and it's going to hit on a lot of like real life truths. I feel like that's kind of Mike Lee's stuff. That's what he does.
They're grounded in reality.
Very much so, and specifically working class UK society.
Yeah,
typically British society. Like that's what he likes to get into.
Yeah.
And Criterion has a lot of his films out too. So
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they do.
I need a next sale probably. Tackle.
Yeah. Naked can be a difficult one to watch, but it's so good. I love Naked.
What's interesting is that
What's that?
Did he do I, Daniel Blake too?
No, that was another one. That's another British filmmaker. That's
he's got Vera Drake.
I always get that. Yeah, I don't think Vera Drake is that.
I think that's either. That's not Ken Loach. Who is the other one?
Who's that other British
It's supposed
guy?
to be Mike Lee's last movie too. Didn't he say this was going to be his last one?
Hard Truth.
Hard Truth, yeah.
Well, he's not young anymore.
Yeah, he's up. He's a little up there.
Yeah, Ken Loach lied Daniel Blake.
Okay,
but Ken Loach is very similar to Mike Lee.
He's got a similar style.
Yeah, and I think both of the or one of them said that their last movie's coming out this year, and I'm conflating the two.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess all our picks are out there. There's no more. Now we got to get all the secrets out. Get the secrets out of the secret picks.
No lying now. No lying.
This one isn't my pick, but it almost was my pick. It's a movie that I absolutely love. And to go back to the question earlier about Robert Altman,
Chronicles of Narnia.
This guy asks about Robert Altman right now. I was like, of all the things somebody could ask, a movie I absolutely adore that spawned one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and that is Gosford Park.
I knew you were going to say that.
You knew it was going to be Gosford Park. Where's the 4K, people? Come on, I want the 4K.
There's a Blu-ray of it put out by Arrow.
Oh, I love this movie. The upstairs, downstairs world of Gosford Park. What an amazing cast. Robert Altman. There you go, gentlemen who asked that question. Robert Altman. All right, now this is my number one pick. This is my pick that I watched both of those.
Dan, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but before you say anything else, I tried watching that movie, Gosford Park. It's so boring.
Oh, you're nuts. You have to look at the little things. They zoom in on the poison.
There's something about
the photos in the offices.
It's something about, and this isn't every movie of that age that or hit that time period, but that posh like Downton Abbey society, that stuff bores the shit out of me.
All right.
Fall asleep when I have to hear somebody like, "Could you please, let me get some tea?" And if I have to, like, let's go out and walk the fields, and and let's go by the bay, and I don't care. It's so fucking boring.
I got you. Well, you're definitely not gonna like my other pick because it's very similar to Gosford Park, but it has a really great message about you don't know who. Sometimes you're doing a job, you're serving somebody, and you're doing a job, and that's your job, and you don't know exactly what. You don't believe in that person's politics or whatever. And I've watched this now twice in like the last 2 months. That's
a lot for you.
And that is The Remains of the Day with Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson. Anthony Hopkins plays Mr. Stevens, a butler at Darlington Hall. Lord Darlington is a Nazi sympathizer. And there's that line. Where's the line that you cross of you're a butler and you're supposed to do a job? And
Andrew took off on that one.
And then he befriends the maid, the head maid, played by Emma Thompson. There's a framing device of Mr. Stevens going somewhere and doing something later in the movie. They go back and forth. It's got a really good cast. It's got Hugh Grant. It's got Christopher Reeve in a good role, not some crappy role that he sometimes got in after Superman. He's good and he's decent in The Remains of the Day. It's Merchant Ivory, and that's a connection to a movie I almost picked as my number one movie, another Merchant Ivory Best Picture nominated film from 1985, A Room with the View. But I'll tell you what, this is a movie that came after The Silence of the Lambs. So you're like, oh, Anthony Hopkins, he's Hannibal. And then he's,
fava beans.
But you just can't help but like relate to the guy and like what a difficult circumstances he's in. Like he's trying to do his job. He wants to be the best servant, and servitude is his life. But then he's working with a guy who's a Nazi sympathizer, and people come into that house and you think these people are Nazis, you know? And it's really a decent cast. You're like, oh, I know that guy. Oh, I saw that guy in this movie. Oh, I saw that person in that movie. How about Lena Headey plays the maid? So yeah, I got The Remains of the Day as my pick, and the Butler theme of William Powell and Anthony Hopkins.
All right. Butler movies. That's your award show edition is double feature of Butler movies, and then if you want to watch Lee Daniels, The Butler.
And this was nominated for Best Picture. I might add Best Actor, Best.
There you go.
Actress.
And that's that. That goes. I mean, I didn't say that the second movie had to be a nominated movie, but that works good too. Yeah, that's good. Good pick. All right, Gage.
Nobody has any thoughts about The Remains of the Day?
It's been so long since I've seen it.
Nobody just got the 4K like a month ago?
I was about to say, I know that just came out, and I do want to get that 4K, and I want to get that Gosford Park Blu-ray as well. I would like to see both.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Oh, you gotta see Gosford Park. Gage, you gotta love it.
It's been a few years.
Go to another park.
Yeah, it's been a few years since I've seen Remains of the Day. It is probably one of the best films that Christopher Reeve had done after, or one of his non-Superman roles.
Mhm.
I've recently, like last year going to this year, watched a lot of non-Superman Christopher Reeve films, and a lot of them aren't great.
They're not
You know
like
what I mean?
Noises Off, which is good.
The one he did with Michael Caine is awesome.
That one is very good.
Yeah.
But there were a bunch he did in the 80s that were just not were not great. I think at one point, like he had just done so many kind of like, flops in a row that he went from like an A-list star to like losing that A-list star, like, whatever, allure or whatever, because he had done so many like bad films in a row. But that Remains of the Day is very good. I remember reading that book in college at some point, before I even knew that there was a movie. And I think we ended up watching the movie in college as well. Like they made us read it and then watch the movie. And that was the first time I had ever seen the movie. And I think I saw it a few years ago, but I don't remember a lot of it. I gotta rewatch. I gotta get that 4K. I heard it looks very good too.
Oh,
that edition.
Gorgeous. Second time I watched it in like a month. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I love Christopher Reeve on that episode of South Park that he's on.
I didn't know he
Nice
was on.
reference.
He's not on it, but
There's a whole arc in South Park where they talk about Christopher Reeve and like themselves.
Oh.
This is going back like 20.
yeah, I'm gonna say
years.
that's like season 6, I think. Of South
Yeah, which
Gotta
was
see
like
Noises Off.
night-
If you haven't seen
2000.
that, I recommend everybody see Noises Off if you like.
There's a new documentary though about Christopher Reeve.
Mhm.
That's why I was watching
Yeah.
a lot of Christopher Reeve
yeah.
films. I had not seen a lot of his non-Superman stuff.
Made
That's
my
just so
top 10 of
iconic.
the year, Andrew. That made my top 10 of the year. I think
The
I had
documentary.
Yeah, the doc
Oh,
made
nice.
at number 7 or 8 on my top 10 of the year.
Good to hear.
Some people like, oh, you don't put docs on your top 10. Why not? It's a film.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
Yeah,
it's,
sure.
it's that good, it's that good.
Yeah, they can.
exactly. All right. Well, let's head over to Gage. What are you pairing with Grand Hotel?
Okay, so what I'm pairing with it is something that I have had since it came out, which I think is 2018 maybe. I don't know, but it's something that I've had on my shelf for way longer. As I finally started this Dietrich von Sternberg box set by Criterion, and specifically the first film in it, Morocco. It was awesome. I loved it. This would also be the first Marlene Dietrich movie I've ever seen. It's not my first von Sternberg. I've seen the Silent Collection, which also William Powell is in. Which one is he in? The Last Command, I believe. He's whichever movie he's in from that silent film set. I can't remember off the top of my head. He kills it. Even as a silent actor, you can see he's amazing.
Yeah.
But Morocco, similarly to Grand Hotel, has a setting that is a character in itself. So Marlene Dietrich's character is fleeing where she's from and lands at this basically as like a hotel singer in this hotel or living space, living quarters in Morocco, where she meets Gary Cooper's character. And it just kind of goes off on, some kind of romance story. And I know it's actually a lot of I've seen a lot of people have it listed as their least favorite from the set, and I understand why. There's some dated stuff in
Really?
it, but it's I think it's amazing. And Gary Cooper's performance in it is super modern feeling. It's also pre-code from 1931. He's just kind of a piece of shit in the movie. He's a piece of shit French legionnaire. But yeah, it's an awesome movie, and the setting is cool because again, you got a lot of stuff of like them sneaking out, sneaking around at night, and this kind of desert town kind of setting. And that movie also, I believe, is Marlene Dietrich's either her only nomination for Best Actress or her only win. I think it's her only nomination.
Yeah.
So that's its Oscar connection, award season connection. So that movie was awesome, and I was thinking about actually making that my my Unwatched Pile thing, because I did just kind of watch that like a few weeks ago, and I watched Grand Hotel for this, and something else.
For some reason, I'm into hotel movies right now.
yeah, and so that's why I wanted to also bring up Safe in Hell, which is another pre-code movie where this woman's trapped in a hotel, and it's kind of like Morocco, where it kind of has an exotic location because they're in an island, and it's another movie that all takes place inside of a hotel. It's got a whole bunch of pre-code goodness, and it's awesome. And that brings me to the last one, which is Only Angels Have Wings, which doesn't necessarily it's not I guess it's a hotel that they all kind of live in. Have any of you guys seen this?
Yeah.
A long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's another one of those where I'm glad it finally got a release from somewhere.
Oh my god!
I believe it's a post office, actually.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's not really a hotel. Cary Grant, who's my favorite actor, is running a post office outfit in this little island, or it's not an island, but it's a tropical setting where there's like it's I know there's some docks and stuff nearby. I can't remember. I think it's in South America, and it's in between some mountains and stuff, and it's very dangerous to fly out of it, but they all kind of live in this space that's like a bar downstairs, and then they have their living quarters and everything. And that movie, I think, is the epitome of the setting being like a major part of the movie, or being a character in itself. And it's probably the Criterion I've rewatched the most. I don't rewatch a lot of movies because, like, as you guys know, we have a lot of movies that we're always trying to catch up on. So Only Angels Have Wings and My Man Godfrey those are two movies that are great examples of movies that I have probably watched more than 3 times in the past 10 or 5 years, I guess. I guess 5 years ago was COVID, but yeah, I've rewatched these movies a lot, and those kinds of movies are just very important to me. So I wanted to highlight those as a way to show like amazing settings for films. And I don't know if Only Angels Have Wings or if Safe in Hell were nominated for anything. I doubt Safe in Hell was, but that Blu-ray looks amazing because the old DVD I know was sourced from a 16 millimeter print that looked awful, and this was like brand new scan off the negative or something like that, some pre-print elements. And then Only Angels Have Wings, Criterion, is really awesome. Hopefully we get a 4K of it one day because it's amazing. Even the menu for it's awesome because you kind of get like the foggy look, and then it's the plane, the noise of the plane, and the calling break. It's absolutely amazing. And so all of these movies are kind of linked to their hotelish or living quarter.
I mean, Grand Hotel, probably set a precedent for continuing to do movies that are set in hotels. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still a thing they do today. I mean,
Yeah.
you could have easily said Grand Budapest Hotel. You could have
Yeah.
easily said that what's the Marigold Hotel.
Oh, that was an answer on the new celebrity or not celebrity pop culture Jeopardy with Colin Jost or whatever. That was one of the answers. And
Yeah, I mean, it's they're movies that are prime for having big casts, which is what Grand Hotel did. And of course, usually the hotels are very, singular in a way that they're, like you said, they're their own characters.
Yeah.
Especially something like Grand Budapest. It's very iconic. It's very, something, you could even say The Shining.
Oh yeah, that's another great hotel movie.
There's so many picks you could have picked, but
Four rooms.
Yeah.
4 rooms.
But it's on brand for you as somebody that watches a lot of movies from the 30s.
Yeah, all 4 of those.
To pick Morocco. So,
Yeah, 39. Only Angels Have Wings is 39, which, everybody says that's the best year in film. That's probably my favorite movie from that year.
That's considered one of the greatest.
Oh,
years.
Dan's got something to say because 1999 is like forever the best year. So, never mind.
Some people say 1982.
74 is amazing. 99 is amazing. You gotta admit, 99 is a damn good year.
No, it's good.
I don't disagree with you.
I don't think there's one we could pick.
Yeah, I think the debate is.
My second, 2014 is my second.
Yeah,
favorite.
I say 1989, the year I was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nice reference.
Good year. 1989 was a good year.
Yeah, Only Angels Have Wings was a much sought after Blu-ray release.
Yes.
It had a Blu-ray release from, of all places, Turner Classic Movies in 2014. I have that Blu-ray release somewhere, but I also have Only Angels Have Wings, and Cary Grant, Jean Arthur, Rita Hayworth is in that film. Before Rita Hayworth really became a star in the 1940s, she was in that film. Yeah, and, Only Angels Have Wings is a great pull.
Richard Barthelmess, I believe he was like a big silent star, and he kind of plays one of the main, I guess, antagonists.
Yeah, and the movie was directed by Howard Hawks.
Yes.
So for those of you who are classic movie fans, Howard Hawks is a big name.
Yeah.
Morocco. Yeah, I believe it's the second time that Marlene Dietrich and Joseph von Sternberg worked together. I want to say Blue Angel. Yeah, Blue Angel was the first one. There is a Blu-ray of Blue Angel put out by Kino from way back. By way back, I mean like over a decade ago. From like their Kino Classics line. But that's a good movie. Yeah, that's the one with Gary Cooper's in like the French Foreign Legion. They're kind of just like stopped over at this place. And so it's like, yet again, like single location type of deal, similar to Grand Hotel. Really good. Yeah, it's in that Criterion box set, which I still have here on my desk from years ago. I've had this here since I bought it.
He's like a damn magician or something. Some weird street magician that's like, I got it. Whoa.
Yeah, it's like, it's here.
Pull out Remains of the Day, though.
I don't have that. But
you must have an assistant hand them that.
There's this set, and there's the one by Indicator, and I believe they have the same features.
I think Indicator has a lot more, and it has.
Do they?
Yeah, and I think the transfers are like they're the same transfers, but the encoding is slightly better or something. The Indicator. So that was before I was like really hardcore into buying Region B stuff. Now I have a Region Free player, so I wish I could have gotten that.
Yeah. So this predates the Indicator release by probably a few years.
Yeah, I think
I've had this
for the Indicator
for many years. It's still a very nice set.
Yeah.
For those of you, for me, my favorite in this set is Shanghai Express. Probably my favorite Joseph von Sternberg.
I watched
That's the one I rewatched the most.
Okay, I watched Dishonored, which is the second one. So next I'll be watching Shanghai Express, probably in the
nice. That's my favorite one. Talk about a good cast all together.
Is it all on a train?
It is actually all on a train.
Okay, similar to hotels.
I don't want to say anything.
I love train movies, so
yeah.
You and Alfred Hitchcock would have gone well together. The man loved trains.
Yes, he did.
Just a child loving his trains. But like I said, a lot of great hotel movies. I would have picked, even though I haven't seen Grand Hotel, just the way you describe it, I would have matched it up with Private Parts from Paul Bartel. That's what I would.
Oh, that movie. Okay.
Every
time you say that, I think of the Howard Stern film. Yeah. Still to this day.
Or the Hotel Transylvania movies. Those are good.
Yeah, Hotel. Yes, that
Those are
would be a
good,
good pick too. All right, Andrew, please tell us what other epic. Are you going to pick a 6-hour movie to go along with your 4-hour movie?
To be honest, I racked my brain over what film to choose to pair up with Cleopatra, because Cleopatra is such a unique film. I had to kind of, I had to latch on to something specific about it in order to make it work. Because I could have gone with another epic. I could have gone with Lawrence of Arabia we referenced earlier. I could have gone with the Ten Commandments. I could have gone with Ben-Hur. I could have gone with whatever else. But I decided to latch onto the romance aspect of it all, because the movie is hinged upon this romance between, like I said, first half Julius Caesar, second half Mark Antony. And so that's really the catalyst for that whole story and that whole movie. That's what everything kind of hinges on. So I kind of just broke it down to simple terms of what's another iconic romance in cinema. And I went with my old reliable, Steven, forgive me for this, Casablanca.
That is old reliable for you.
Yeah, I went with my old because I was racking. To be honest, I spent hours yesterday racking my brain over what to choose. And at one point I was going to do Dr. Zhivago at one point, but I hadn't seen Dr. Zhivago in years. And I didn't have the 3 hours and 17 minutes to watch Dr. Zhivago right now, So I was like,
my set is right over here.
Oh, I see his Lawrence. Dude, I see that hanging.
And
Lawrence of Arabia is back
and I was
here.
going to choose even another
and
epic.
Singing in the Rain.
Nice. Yeah, I do need to get the 4K of it.
The 4K, awesome.
But I was going to choose Gone with the Wind as well, because I was thinking, large scale, epic filmmaking. If the backdrop is the Civil War, whereas the backdrop in Cleopatra is a series of civil wars, really, that's going on during that time period in Roman history. But then I realized that people don't realize this. Gone with the Wind isn't so much a romance. There's romance in it, but it's a complicated romance in there. It's not like lovey-dovey romance. It's like toxic romance that's in that movie. As much as the posters may make you feel as if they're having a warm, loving embrace that you've seen on all the posters, Rhett Butler and Scarlett O'Hara had a tumultuous relationship. So that movie's not really romantic as much as people remember it being. So I was like, I'll go with my old reliable, Casablanca, Rick Blaine, and Elsa. And for those of you who obviously don't know this movie, the backdrop is World War II, takes place in Northern Africa and Casablanca, which I think is like Morocco-ish type of area. And
it is Morocco.
Thank you, Stan. I didn't know you were so geographically inclined.
Well, he loves that movie too, so he knows.
My number one movie of all time.
I know. So that's why I went
1,000 times,
because it fits that mold of like this epic backdrop of like war and all this kind of stuff, but at the heart of this movie is the romance. That's what is the catalyst of this story. And when you get the background of this romance, how they came together, how they drifted apart, how they come together again. That's what's driving this movie. And you have two iconic stars similar to Cleopatra with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. Here you have Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart. Just such a very iconic duo on screen. So that's why I went with this. And this is like one of my all-time favorite movies as well. It's really, a classic amongst classics. And when in doubt, go with Casablanca, I guess. I guess.
I love it, man.
Obviously, Best Picture winner, 1944.
43, right?
I think it's 44. I don't know. I was on IMDb.
I was listening to George Eltenstein talk about this on a podcast recently, and he's like, people always get Casablanca mixed up because I think it came out on like December 29th or something like that, and so it's constantly mistaken as a 43 or 44 movie or whatever.
Right. It's right. I get back then. Movie release dates are kind of wild. It's not like it is. It's not like it is today. I mean, back then, the Academy Awards weren't what they were today. I remember on Cinema Discovery Project, we did a whole episode on like kind of the general history of the Academy Awards. Back in the day, they would have it in hotel ballrooms and it wasn't even like televised. It wasn't even on the radio. Like it was like no one cared about them. You know what I mean? Not like it is today when it's a nationwide broadcast. But yeah, 1944 Best Picture winner, directed by Michael Curtiz, the man who made a gargantuan amount of films throughout his career and an influence on, Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, amongst a host of others. That whole generation of filmmakers kind of owe everything to Michael Curtiz. If you've ever seen an adventure film, like post 1930s, they're kind of copying Michael Curtiz. He did, The Adventures of Robin Hood. He did Captain Blood, which needs a Blu-ray release to this day. A couple of other Errol Flynn adventure films as well. And he worked in every genre. If you look at his IMDb, it's an endless amount of credits on there.
Let me tell you something, Andrew, real quick.
Okay.
Gage, okay, you watch Casablanca and then you watch Star Wars. And guess what? Guess who used Rick's Cafe American for the Mos Eisley Cantina?
I'm guessing George Lucas, since he directed that film.
Used the Rick's Cafe American for the Mos Eisley Cantina. So does it seem a little familiar, dude?
Yeah, of course.
Because it is familiar.
Yeah. Yes. The thing is, Steven Spielberg says the same thing. He used a scene in The Adventures of Robin Hood. He used it in Indiana Jones, and he pretty much says that he did. Yeah. So everyone takes from the best. When in doubt, take from the best, I guess, is another saying you should go with.
And Roger Ebert wrote an entire book called A Kiss is Still a Kiss. Oh, great book. Very hard book to find, I might add.
Kind of surprised. You'd think that all of his stuff would stay evergreen in print.
Yeah, I got a copy of it. A beat up copy, but I got a copy of A Kiss is Still a Kiss. Great book.
Nice.
Yeah, that Casablanca I just watched for the first time 2 years ago now. Yeah, that was the one I had put off for a very, very long time. And then eventually the 4K came out and I got that. I'd put off the Blu-ray forever because I wanted that big box right there. I just never got it. And then I was like, well, eventually now the 4K is going to come out for sure. And then it eventually did come out. My friend got it for me for Christmas. And
this set is nice. It's got.
a good gift.
I literally watched Casablanca 3 times in a row. So I watched it with 3 different commentaries. Roger Ebert and 2 other people. That's how incredible this set right here is.
Yeah,
I got this one too. I got it twice on 4K.
It was the last movie I watched at the house I grew up in.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Oh,
My parents' house.
And then the whole ending makes sense, works.
Yeah, I know, and it was like it was crazy watching it because you've seen so many pieces of that movie, go through our culture and cartoons and everything. It's like almost every part of that movie is something that you've heard. So you've heard every line of that movie before, even though I'd never seen it, and it could almost it does fit in even my theme of movies.
Yeah, it mostly takes place in Rick's Cafe. And it's just the interplay of all of these people.
Yeah. Good pick. I'll tell you, I love that pick.
Andrew, I knew Dan was good. Yeah.
You made my day, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Jesus. Stop.
Steven, this is a hard act to follow.
Yeah,
I don't know what to
it's better than
This is tough, man. All right. Well, I'm going to follow it with, I kind of alluded to my pick when I was talking about it. I mentioned Mike Leigh being a very naturalistic director, and I also mentioned another director that's very similar, Hirokazu Koreeda. So I chose a film from this box set here, Family Values. Makes sense. Mike Leigh, things about family. Well, I picked the film in here called Like Father, Like Son. And this is one of my favorite films that I've watched of his. And it has a similar shock value to it because in this film, it's not, not some, somebody that's grown up looking for their long lost mom or dad or whatever. In this case, and this is based around some true events that happened in Japan where 2 families' babies were swapped at birth. So in the main character, you have kind of a rich upper class family that has their son who's 6 years old, find out that their son is not their biological son. And then, so they want to find their real son, and their real biological son they have their son is with a more kind of lower, not lower class, but like lower middle class family. And they have, and it's a big family. They got like 5 kids to the rich family that only has the 1 kid. So you have this the culture clash, the class clash there, but you also have this kind of dilemma where they have to like decide. So what do? We switch the kids back. Do I take my biological kid, but the kid's already grown up with this other family, and what does it mean to be family? Is it blood? Is it nature versus nurture kind of thing? Like, does it really matter? And so there's all this kind of turmoil that's going on, specifically narrowing on the rich father that has a very traditional point of view on it, which is that, my blood should be with me, because and so through all this kind of mindset, he is figuring out what kind of father he really is, and having to make changes. It's a story essentially about, understanding what real family is, and how to be a father, and how to be a son, and how to be, what makes real family. And I think that that's very much ingrained in Mike Leigh films and in Secrets and Lies, values of what it is to be a family. And I think that that's why this really matches it really well with that film. It's just Corietta, just very similarly to Mike Leigh, just know how to get really great performances, specifically out of children. He does a lot of films with children in it. Shoplifters was one, I think, Dan, you've probably seen Shoplifters, Dan, right? Really good. He did Monster a couple years ago, had a child performance at the center of that. He does a lot of films with children in it, and he just always figures out how to get really great performances. And they're just most of his films are always about family. And speaking of this, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Next Unwatched Pile, I'm making Andrew watch Afterlife. So that'll connect to my pick, because that is a Hirokazu Koreeda. Told him he needs to watch for forever. That there will be no excuse. He has to watch it. So what I'll say is I'll make you pick my pick.
Oh, give me time.
Yeah. But I'll give you options.
Well, yeah, because I don't know what's in your collection. What's not.
You don't know. But has anybody else had a chance to see like Father Like Son?
I've never seen any of Korieda's movies. I know that. And the same one I went and saw Lawrence of Arabia with, he's seen Afterlife and he likes that a lot.
Yeah. I know you've seen some, Andrew. I think you've seen what, like
I have. I've seen, actually, let me go check.
Still Walking. You've seen
Still Walking I've seen. Yeah, because that's
a Criterion.
Actually has a Criterion.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate thing is not all, I mean, you can get Blu-rays of Korieda's films, but they're kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. There's like Criterion has Still Walking. Arrow, this is an Arrow Academy release. This came out way long time ago.
I was going to ask if that was a second run. Does the second run put any of his stuff out?
I don't think so, but this is Arrow Academy. Okay. And then BFI put out a set that's got Nobody Knows, Afterlife, and a third film. And then there's a whole other boutique that has put out a few of his films. I can't remember which one it is, but they're kind of just all over the place. There's not a lot of Region A releases.
That's the real kicker.
Yeah, really? There's very few Region A releases of his films. So
are you not Region A, Andrew? I mean, Region Free.
I am. I am.
I
just haven't
which isn't a problem, but it's like it'd be nice for them to be more accessible.
Yeah, it'd just be like it. Having to bounce around the globe is always a little bit of a pain, I guess. But yeah, for me, I've seen actually a couple of his. I've seen 5 of his films. So I've seen Monster, I've seen Shoplifters, I've seen Broker, which came out in 2022.
I still haven't seen that.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, and then Still Walking I've seen, and I've also seen the movie Air Doll, which got
Air Doll, got
a release from one of the partner labels
at
Finger Syndrome. I think it was Connie.
Yeah,
I think it was him. I probably have it either over
about
there
about the Asian blow up the Air Doll that
it
comes to
life.
Of the movie comes to life.
Dream come true.
Yeah.
And the broker definitely the broker deals with kids again.
It's another one kind of dealing with kids. I think it's dealing with like. Yeah, I'm not gonna say nothing.
Air Dolls is maybe one of the most unique films he made. I mean, he's made some varying films. Afterlife is kind of a variant of what it goes off the path of what you usually see. But I would say Air Dolls is probably his kind of most out there film.
Yeah, it was Decanolag. That's who put out Air Doll.
That's right.
I think Film Movements put out a couple of his films.
Also partner label now.
They're doing really good stuff. And that's just over here.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he's one of my favorite modern directors, and I got a chance to meet him. At Telluride Film Festival. It's been about 6 years now.
I'll be honest, Steven, I'm still riding high off of that story because I still use it to impress people.
Oh, really? With
God.
my story?
Yeah.
I know somebody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm riding that all the way. Tell them, Steven. You got to see the Alfonso Cuarón film, and that was like the first.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him, but he was there. He was there.
Yeah.
Laura Dern. You met Laura Dern.
I did meet
I
Laura
remember
Dern.
I've heard that one.
Yeah, that was. I wish I could have talked. I would have talked to her about David Lynch if I'd have thought about it at the time.
Yeah,
but I was trying not to interrupt her gaze. She was on her way with her kids out to like do stuff. So I was like,
I almost changed from Grand Hotel to Elephant Man, but I didn't have the time to watch Elephant Man. I still haven't watched.
Wow,
Yeah,
that would
that would have been a good one. Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorite years in film. 80, 1980. One of my favorite years in film. Right there behind me, you see that poster over there of Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
1980.
Awesome. But it's Corriere is just a filmmaker that I get excited every time he's got something new out. So, but once again, another edition of Unwatched Pile. We did it, guys.
This was great.
We watched.
Hey, good job. An hour and 31 minutes.
Now I have 1,862 more movies to watch in my collection.
I know. I got plenty. Of.
I watched 3 for this, so.
You did extra, man. That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah, I gotta knock out more of that Capra box set too. I've dug into it. I've gotten probably like 3 or 4 movies into that now, so I've been having fun with that. But definitely hopping in that.
Yeah, I'm all over the place, man. I'm always looking for something new to watch, but like sometimes I go through phases of watching TV and watching movies, and right now I'm watching like the new Dexter show, and I'm like,
nice.
Like I'm just and I'm starting to watch Twin Peaks. So
nice. Have you never seen Twin Peaks?
I've never watched it.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, that's like that's my favorite TV show.
He just watched Harry Potter, but he's seen all of Twin Peaks.
Yes.
He's got good priorities.
Lots of pre-code stuff. Just watched Harry Potter.
He's like, I've watched all the movies from 1930s through 1950, but I just watched Harry Potter for the first time.
Priorities. You got to get your priorities in order.
No, I know, and that's my more unwatched guilty things. Is this year after finishing Harry Potter, this year I'm going to do the Lord of the Rings movies.
He's never seen the Lord of the Rings.
Andrew, get off.
Let's go ahead and set this up real fast, though.
Yeah,
we should do a video where you talk with Andrew about what you think of Lord of the Rings after you've watched them.
That sounds good. Special series.
He's a super fan.
I know that's like one of his favorites. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So let us know when you're going to do that so we can set it up.
My goal is
Harry Potter films. I probably
April-ish.
watched about 6 or 7 times.
Nice. I really enjoyed the Harry Potter movies. I know I'm going to enjoy the Lord of the Rings too.
Make sure you watch the extended versions.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to start.
Yeah,
I'm going to start with the extended ones for sure.
It's interesting, if you're finding someone of your age who didn't grow up with those.
I mean, I was born in '95, so it's ridiculous that I haven't seen it. Like everybody my age has seen.
It's okay. Hey, honestly, you give me hope that there's people that watch other than modern films. It's fine. I'm not going to hold that against you.
I'm just saying, like growing up, those seem like staples for a lot of people, especially the newer generations.
Yeah, those, and then I also want to watch the Indiana Jones movies this year too. I've never seen those.
Next, he's going to tell us. Have you seen Jaws?
I've seen Jaws. Yes, I've seen Jaws. Yeah.
Don't watch the last Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, don't watch the Jaws sequels.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have Cruel Jaws from.
We should just do a show where he reveals movies he hasn't seen, and we just like.
I have a list. Let me pull one more crazy one out for you. I have a list on my list. I have a list of like how have I not seen these yet.
I got a feeling this list is gonna be shocking.
He's young. He's a young guy. He's a young guy.
He's not that young. He's 95, so he's only 6 years younger than me. He's like almost 30.
He's the youngest amongst the four of us.
Here, I'll give you some more in my top 10 that I need to see. All right, 12 Angry Men.
Come on now.
I mean, look, it's kind of shocking you haven't seen it since you like older films.
Yeah.
And it's on Criterion and Kino. You're like this boutique label guy.
No,
yeah. Ben-Hur.
That's okay. You don't have to watch that movie.
Night of the Hunter.
Oh,
you need to watch that one.
Criterion.
And this isn't these are not the top 10 necessarily because they're like the best movies I need to see, but it's like Ben-Hur is like huge.
Yeah. It's a big movie.
Yeah, and I got Lord of the Rings, obviously, Singing in the Rain, Stagecoach.
Oh, that's a
It's
Criterion.
a good Western. Yeah.
The French
Singing in the Rain 4K is gorgeous.
The French Connection.
Gorgeous. The French. Oh, get that! No! You got to get that Blu-ray because do not watch it on streaming.
Yeah, I
know
know
they cut some stuff.
Yeah.
It's centered. You got to get that Blu-ray before it goes out of print.
The Mountain Falcon, Rashomon, and then my number one that I need to see is Gone with the Wind. I've never seen Gone with the Wind.
Oh, they're all on Criterion.
Yeah,
do the 50% off like splash sale that comes up in either February or March. Grab all those.
My goal. I turned 30 this October, so I'm hoping that my how the hell have I not seen these movies get like really cut into this year. So after football ends and WrestleMania and everything, and I'm completely like out of any kind of thing like that, I'm gonna try to watch the Lord of the Rings movies. So probably in like the start or middle of April, I'll probably watch
grab some of those Criterions at the 50% off flash sale.
I have the French
February or
Connection.
March.
I have Stagecoach. I have a couple other ones. So
I
have the Lord of the Rings.
You're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I just need to watch it.
Watch it.
Before we wrap it up, you got Acres of Movies says, I saw Dan skip out on the Movie Hero Network, and he mentioned this show in particular and said it was a great group of movie fans and great discussion. Thanks, Dan.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I always mention Chasing Labels. I always mention your channel every time I'm on.
I appreciate that, Dan. Thank you so much.
Nice.
And he also, go ahead.
Just gonna say, Andrew, thank you for. I still keep up with the Chasing Labels podcast. I love listening to it every weekend. You're gonna.
I know you always are like,
yeah,
Steven's gone. Steven's gone.
I'm sorry that every episode now is like
4 hours long.
Cleopatra. yeah. Every episode now is like 3 hours plus.
No, I love it because I listen.
I can't stop them when I'm not there. So it's
that's very true.
You need some edit. You need someone to cut you back, Andrew.
I guess the thing is, it's like I'm even skipping stuff, and it's still like there's just so much that goes on in the boutique label world, even stuff we don't cover.
Yeah. Well, before we head out, Acres of Movies had a couple other things here. Yeah, do you want to see a Jaws prequel set in 1776 with Ben Franklin stopping the shark with electricity and people in old-timey beach wear? Would that be a good idea?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, that sounds like something I would. That sounds like Acres of Movies. You might want to do a show that it sounds like a good idea for Movie Mutations, which is
better reach out to him. He might be good for
He might be good for the show I'm developing called Movie Mutations.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah,
that's a
good idea.
Sounds
like something somebody would come up with.
Yeah, it would. Dan and Andrew have played a few Movie Mutations. I don't know if you would be interested in Movie Mutations. You probably don't know what it is yet.
I remember you announcing it. I remember. I remember.
I forgot I announced it.
Yeah.
1,000 years ago,
Yeah, it feels like 1,000 years because I haven't had time to get it ready to because I honestly it's something that has to be prepped.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
It's like getting everybody to understand the game before we even play it.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a live thing too. People got to learn the game. It's going to take a while. But
I'll
get on it.
Yeah, there's some other comments here which very interesting, kind of out of left field because you don't see this reference very often. Favorite Philip Baker Hall performance?
And obviously, it's what Magnolia.
That's a good one.
Magnolia.
Yeah,
you gotta go.
Philip Baker Hall in Magnolia?
Isn't that him? Philip Baker Hall? No, am I wrong?
You're thinking about Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Dallas Baker, Philip Dallas Baker. Whatever.
No, He's
I'm getting my guys mixed up.
Philip Baker Hall is in he's in that movie Secret Honor where he plays Richard Nixon. It's just him going crazy the whole time. That's a Criterion movie that desperately needs a re-release.
Who's the game show host in Magnolia? What's that guy?
Is it not? Well, I know Philip Baker Hall worked a lot with PTA, but he's more of a character actor. For me, like I said, Secret Honor is really good, but he was in Magnolia, so technically,
I knew that he was a game show host.
But a Hard 8, for some reason, I was blanking on Hard 8. He's really good in Hard 8.
Isn't there and did somebody announce that Criterion? Somebody just announced that.
Kino just announced they're putting out a 4K of that.
Yeah,
I need to get that.
That's definitely a must for me because I missed out on the imprint release. That was an early imprint. I think it was imprint number 1, 2, or 3. It was early imprint. Those are long out of print.
Yeah, I gotta get.
But he's also he was in Boogie Nights as well. He's a character actor, great character actor. But he's in the movie called Secret Honor, which I know no one talks about because you can only really find it on DVD, and it's just him as Richard Nixon in the White House, just talking to himself and talking to portraits of other presidents, and just kind of a one-man show. It's really, really good. I think I saw it streaming. It's probably on the Criterion channel at this point. I would have to assume.
Let's get this last question in and we're gonna wrap it up. Trade one Kurt Russell starring role in a movie for one Dennis Quaid starring role in another movie.
All right.
So
I'll go first. Let me go first. Get rid of Dennis Quaid in The Substance and put Kurt Russell in The Substance. Can you imagine Kurt Russell?
Well, yeah, but what role from Kurt Russell?
And then you put Dennis Quaid in China, the one China one.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China. That would be weird. That would be a weird swap, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to picture it. Dennis Quaid in that movie at all just doesn't feel right.
I'm saying Dennis Quaid he's in Reagan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You move that and Kurt Russell from Sky High.
Nice.
I don't know what that is.
Oh wow. How about put let's take Kurt Russell from Tango and Cash and put him in The Rookie.
You stole mine. You stole mine.
But actually, didn't he play baseball? Wasn't he in the minors, Kurt Russell?
Maybe his son played baseball.
Well, Wyatt Russell, I know, but I thought Kurt played.
He might have
minor league baseball, or he was trying to be a baseball player and got hurt or something. But I remember you're right. Wyatt Russell was trying to be a baseball player. Right?
All right. Well, that's going to be it for this edition of the Unwatched Pile. I appreciate everybody here. Gage, thanks for showing up, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys. And sorry that I was having an issue right when you're trying to get on. I don't know what
we know how to fix it now.
Yeah.
I'll just email it to you.
Email it to me. Yeah. I don't know, something. But I'm glad I'll keep all this stuff set up. You guys come check me out at Disconnected on Thursday.
Hell yeah. And of course, Dan Skip Allen here. Thanks for coming, man. I know I could not include you in this. You're the awards guy. I had to get you in talking about award stuff. So tell us anything else before you leave, and any plugs or anything.
Yeah, well, you got right there. I'm a film critic in Orlando, Florida. I'm the owner, editor-in-chief, and head film critic of FromTheFourthRow.com. And I got a lot of crappy movies out right now. Not a lot of great movies out in January.
That sounds good. We're going to be reading some reviews on crappy movies on your site.
But I'm Still Here. Drop today. So go read my review of I'm Still Here, the Academy Award nominated Best Picture contender, and actress Fernanda Torres and her mother, the last Brazilian actress. They're both in it. So yeah, I'm Still Here. Cannot recommend that enough. That review dropped today. Also, Acres of Movies, he mentioned it, or they mentioned it. I did my entire ranking of 128 favorite movies. They narrowed it down to one. I didn't like the final 1 or 2 or 3, whatever it was. But you can go watch a lot of entertaining stuff on there. That's over on the Movie Hero Network. We're running down the greatest TV shows of all time. We're going to narrow down to the greatest TV show of all time. We're doing it
Wow.
decade by decade. So that's been a long series going, tier rankers. So we're doing a lot of that. I'm also over on the Dill Pickle Network on their show. Picture this. If you like the Academy Awards, you like awards, they take the Academy Awards and they reevaluate it in their personal opinions and how they do it. They do. And I've been on there 5 times. I'm hoping to be on there again very soon with them. That's Dylan and Chad. Very good guys, great guys. Also, I'm over on you can find me under my name, Dan Skip Allen, or some version of From the Fourth Row or DP Skip Allen on Letterboxd, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, X, and the Oscar Expert app. The Oscar Expert. I'm locked out of Gold.
I don't think anybody's going to remember any of this. There's too many places to find you.
Yeah.
You need one of them link. You need a link tree.
You're everywhere.
I know a link tree. Yeah, I'm like one of them dancers that go on there and shows their ass.
See, Dan, now you're going off book.
now something's interesting. But no, that's great, Dan. Yeah, you can find Dan is always putting out new reviews. So you know if you follow him, you're always going to get something to read. Real
Consideration on Sundays.
Exactly. He's got that new podcast with his friend there, talking all new award season stuff. So this is the time to be listening. Of course, Andrew, they can find you on here, right?
Yes, you can find us here on Chasing Labels, where we do the Chasing Labels podcast episode recording live stream pretty much every other week or so, typically Monday nights. The next one will possibly be February 3rd, which I think is the next Monday coming up. If not, it'll be the next day because Vinegar Syndrome's new slate's dropping that Saturday, the 1st. So I may need an extra day to watch as much of that stuff as possible, depending on how much they drop. It's always a lot. It's always like combined with partner label and their regular stuff, over 20 titles, typically. Yeah. Or close to it.
There's a reason why I don't get their subscription other than the price is that it would create a whole lot of unwatched pile.
Yeah, it definitely an
just
unwatched
in one
pile
month,
for many.
You know, because you don't know any of the shit that they putting out. You're like, I've never seen any of this.
And a lot of the stuff is typically really hard to find. It doesn't usually stream anywhere. It's usually probably not even been on disc before. And if it has, it's not been available for a long time. So that's always kind of a big issue. So that first episode of the month is typically heavy with a lot of titles like that. But yeah, we'll be here for that, plus whatever else we've got going here on Chasing Labels. Obviously, we'll be doing another Unwatched Pile next month in February, sometime in February. But yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have Ryan. Speaking of Ryan, he will be on next month. So.
Good.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And follow Norman Studios Silent Film Museum on Facebook.
Hell yeah, of course. All right, guys. Well, that is it for this installment. You can find me here every once in a while. I hope to do more videos. We'll see if I have time. But you're always going to see me here on the Unwatched Pile. And of course, what the hell are you doing here? Get the hell out of here. Watch movies. You're not even supposed to be up at this 8. It's got to be too late. Like, go to bed or watch movies, whichever one